Hello, all crypto aficionados. Well, Bitcoin's in the dumps still right now. I think last time I checked was slightly above 26,000, just rose above today. But BlackRock is buying the dip. And if BlackRock is buying the dip, the question is, why aren't you buying the dip? I did buy a couple thousand Dogecoin, but I am actually gathering more crypto via yield farming. So I am gaining bigger bags. And if I am and BlackRock is, why aren't you? Because they seem to be very, very keen on the future of Bitcoin. We're going to discuss a lot about BlackRock today, and there might be someone in the industry even more sinister and more powerful than BlackRock in the crypto industry. Now, you're asking, so BlackRock is buying Bitcoins, right? You're wrong. They're not buying Bitcoins, but they are buying Bitcoin mining companies. Now, CryptoLark did actually do a video, I believe, sometime earlier saying that they own the majority of Bitcoin mining. That's wrong. They do not own the majority of Bitcoin mining. They own a share in the majority of companies that mine Bitcoin, but they are not majority holders. And we will talk about that. But just because they're not majority holders does not mean they don't own hundreds of millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin assets. So the thing is, if you look at this article right here, we will see that they actually own a large share, large as in relative to other investors, of the top four largest Bitcoin miners. They own they're a major shareholder in 4 of the 5. Now, some of you are saying 4 of the 5, that's 80%, right? Wrong. They do not own 80% of the Bitcoin market. They own parts of those companies. Now, who are the top 5 Bitcoin mining companies? We have Riot Platforms, which it has a $1.92 billion market cap. By the way, these valuations would probably be 10 times higher in the bull market. Marathon Digital Holdings with a $1.83 billion market cap. Cypher Mining Incorporated with a $0.74 billion market cap. Hut 8 Mining with $0.5 billion market cap. And TerraWolf Incorporated with $0.41 billion market cap. As you can see, despite all these crypto companies moving out of the United States, we still own 4 of the top 5 mining companies, and Canada owns the other one. And Canada is basically United States North. So North America owns all 5 biggest Bitcoin mining companies ever since they migrated out of China. So the Bitcoin mining industry is going through a delicate moment. Obviously, we know Bitcoin price isn't that great, as mining difficulty continues to increase, also increasing the cost of activity and reducing the expected profits for the majority of Bitcoin miners, who are on average operating underwater for over a year. So they've been taking losses for over a year. What are they surviving on? They're probably surviving on whatever the heck is left over from the last bull run. But you got to think, like, with the halving coming, that's going to automatically double the price of mining. And with the hash rate going up, it's going to increase it even further. So the thing is, BlackRock has invested a lot of money in these companies. How much money? Well, let's take a look. They have 10.7 million shares of Riot worth $199 million, 10.9 million shares of Mara, a Marathon Mining, which is worth $190 million, 2.2 million shares of CIFR worth a total of $8.36 million, and 4.8 million shares of Wolf, $14.1 million. You can actually see this on BlackRock balance sheet. They are a public company. They do have to declare this. Now, all of this means they have $411.54 million in Bitcoin mining assets. Remember, Gary Gensler told BlackRock that he can't actually invest in Bitcoin because of certain regulations. But Larry Fink and BlackRock was like, oh, you silly little bitch. We're just going to buy other crypto assets to get around your silly little ban. And they did. So they own almost $500 million in crypto assets, which means that they don't actually want the value of crypto to go down, because owning crypto companies is not exactly like owning Bitcoins. You can just ride out the wave for Bitcoin. If you own a crypto company and the prices make them go under, you lose those assets for good. The companies have to liquidate, they can't keep operating, and BlackRock would lose $500 million worth of assets. Now, that might not be too good for BlackRock, too much for BlackRock, but they also don't want to lose that much money. So all of you with these theories that BlackRock is trying to suppress the market so they can buy in cheap, I don't actually think that's all that valid because they own these Bitcoin mining companies. If they suppress the price, they run the risk of any of these companies going bankrupt. And if these companies go bankrupt, they lose their entire investment in these companies. That's generally how investing works. So I don't actually think BlackRock is trying to suppress the price of Bitcoin. Then why isn't Bitcoin going up? Well, the interest rates are really high. There's a lot of long-term money trapped in bonds. And right now with the interest rates so high, crypto just isn't looking very competitive to normal people that actually have money to invest, which many don't, rather than bonds and long-term like treasuries and stuff, because those rates are way up as well. So it's really the macro economy that's got crypto down and not so much manipulation by BlackRock. I'm sure BlackRock does a little bit of manipulation as well on the side, especially through futures, but I don't think it's nearly as big as people think. And, like BlackRock probably does play futures a lot, but, they're not invincible for market movements. You can see how some of the big hedge funds completely got wrecked by Wall Street bets. And I don't think BlackRock would actually want to run that risk. They own so many pension funds that if they actually got in real trouble, everyone and their mother would be so mad at them, and there would be pitchforks all over their headquarters. So definitely not something that they would do. Because, BlackRock does actually operate as a financial company, and yes, they have lobbies in Congress, but they don't control Congress. Remember, Gary Gensler gave their ETF the same finger as he gave the rest of the ETFs. So they're not really in somewhat of a special bucket by themselves when it actually comes to that. And a lot of you are saying, but doesn't BlackRock just have the liquidity to buy the entire crypto market? I mean, they control $10 trillion in assets, and the entire market cap of crypto is only $1 trillion. That does not mean they can buy the entire crypto market cap. And I definitely think some of you are wrong when you think they have that much liquidity. See, BlackRock's actual market cap is only $103 billion. It's not $10 trillion. And the market cap of crypto is $1 trillion. So they definitely do not have the liquidity to buy the entire crypto market cap. And the thing is, as you buy more crypto, the price of crypto will inevitably go up. So they're basically just buying themselves into a brick wall if they do that. So they cannot actually do that. Don't think that BlackRock can buy all the crypto or buy all the Bitcoin, because they can't. Remember, BlackRock's assets, when we talk about 10 trillion, are not actually their assets. Those are other people's assets that they actually manage. Those assets don't belong to them. The only way they can actually use those assets to actually buy stuff is if they pull an SBF and FTX, which they wouldn't do because they're heavily scrutinized and people would actually know, and commingle customers' money to buy all these crypto assets, which would lead to a lot of heads at BlackRock rolling. And if BlackRock fell, oh my gosh, it's not only crypto that goes down, the entire economy of the world would basically tank with it as well. So they're very, very unlikely to commingle customer funds and buy crypto with customer funds, because that would result in some life sentences and maybe even some death sentences if that becomes guilty. And even if the court doesn't sentence them to a death sentence, the guys with pitchforks outside just might do that, because there will be a lot of angry people if they commingled customer funds. It would not be on the same level as SBF, not even remotely on the same level. It would be tens of times, hundreds of times greater. And it's not only crypto people that would be upset. Anyone with a pension fund and anyone with a 401k or IRA retirement fund would want a piece of their head. So definitely that's not something that Larry Fink or BlackRock really wants to do. So no, BlackRock can't buy all of crypto. They don't really want to suppress crypto down all that much, because it could actually lead to the ruin of their investments. And the thing is, they're worth $103 billion. Even a $500 million loss, even though less than 1%, is still a significant loss to BlackRock. So they don't want crypto to go down all that much. But there is a company that actually might be even more sinister than BlackRock in the crypto market that actually owns a decent amount of Bitcoin. And you're guessing BlackRock. They're the biggest. Who can possibly be more sinister than them? BlackRock's buying of Bitcoin mining companies is a fairly recent event. I think they only did it in the last 3 or 4 years. And I don't think they actually own too much Bitcoin. But there is another financial company that has been mining Bitcoin from very, very early on. And who is it? Oh, yes, it's Fidelity. You know, the one that's a lot of times manages almost as many assets as BlackRock, but no one actually brings up for their conspiracy theories for some odd reason. I guess people are just afraid of black rocks, and Fidelity does not seem as intimidating. But check this out. Fidelity is a cornerstone of the traditional financial system that the founders of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies intend to disrupt. Yet the 77-year-old company became a Bitcoin pioneer in 2014, mining the token when it was trading around $400. That's right. It's not BlackRock that's actually been mining Bitcoin since 2014. It's Fidelity. And if they've been mining Bitcoin since 2014, you can guess how much Bitcoin they have now. Maybe one of those mysterious whale wallets actually belongs to Fidelity. There is no such wallet that really belongs to BlackRock, and Fidelity, the Fidelity Mafia, as some people might call them, actually probably own a lot more Bitcoin and may have a lot more influence in the market than BlackRock. So they could possibly manipulate the price even more because they have way more physical Bitcoin than BlackRock, having been mining for the last 9 years when Bitcoin is very, very juicy for mining. 2014, that's more than two halvings ago. And that's just a lot of Bitcoin that is being mined by a BlackRock competitor. So next time you make up those theories about BlackRock, be sure to include Fidelity as well, because they actually might be a bigger player. So once again, BlackRock is buying the dip. Fidelity's been mining Bitcoin. All these big financial institutions eventually are going to pump Bitcoin. If they're buying the dip, why aren't you? And if BlackRock is buying the current dip right now, it means there might not be too many dips left, and you should start thinking about buying right now as well. So that's the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, hit that bell notifications button. Thank you, and have a nice day.